Welcome back to Spank Ranch Garage. Another weekend at the cabin, and we got some equipment maintenance to do before we do some property cleanup. It's gonna be scorching hot today, so we're gonna try to do our work back here in the woods where it will remain a little cooler until the sun comes through. So I'm really surprised nobody commented on the last few videos that this backhoe sounds like a piece of junk. It's got a mean exhaust leak or an injector leak. We got to figure out what's going on, so let me get the hood off. Well, that's part of the issue probably. This muffler is actually in very good shape. Usually these are rotted to crap. So that's all it is, a little gasket on a tapered donut here. She's pretty roached. I got some material. Henderson gave me the idea. Just bring gasket material and cut one on the fly. So I won't be able to get one this weekend. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to fit. Oh, that feels nice. All right, that should seal that up. To most people, this is no big deal. Like, it's an exhaust leak on a machine under the hood. Who cares? Oh, look at that. I got soot all over my mouth. Bothers me more because the people with this dozer ran it with no clamp there for like 15 years, and it sooted up the engine bay so much that all the wires turned black, and troubleshooting that machine is a pain in the butt because every wire is black. So I'm trying to keep up on these old machines, and no matter how small the problem is, if it's not a wild amount of effort, I'm going to make an attempt to fix it. Just like the dozer, I want to give this thing a check for moisture before we move anything. Well, if that's the case, we ain't checking that because I don't have a socket with me. There we go. Let's check for that nasty moisture or just slime in general. Because if you guys watched the old videos of this machine, it was extremely contaminated, like some of the worst I've ever seen in my life. And wow, it's actually really good. Alright. That's impressive. That used to be a full milkshake. I mean, I've probably had 50 gallons through this machine. I built that whole oil drying rig just to dry this machine out. And I think we got there, and we haven't let any new water in because I fixed all the leaks. There's goals right there. Can't forget about the plug under the rear, too. Same fluid, but it sits at a little different point, collects things a little differently. But I doubt we'll see water back here if we didn't see it up front. Beautiful. Look how clear that is. Unreal. We're getting somewhere on this machine. She's coming back to her former glory. Comes out the right hole. Next task is our power steering leak. We're dripping right now. It actually looks like it's gotten worse, which isn't cool. And not knowing where it's coming from isn't that cool either. So it's coming off the top of the weights here. I think I see it. I think it's leaking out of this fitting here, which is going to be a doozy to get to. It's going to be tough to see, but if you look at that T-fitting in there, doesn't that look like that's turning a little bit in the cylinder? I think it is. I think that fitting's loose and the O-ring's compromised. It'd be tough to get those pins out to get the cylinder out. This front axle is tough to work on. Break out the old bore scope to see this leak. Sure, it doesn't look great to you guys, but that fitting that I'm looking at right there where it runs into that yellow part seems to be the issue. If I were to take these auxiliary weights off, that ain't gonna buy me anything because the front axle still swings under it. And if you turn the wheels, none of that moves. I'm gonna try to slip a wrench in there and tighten it. That thing is finger tight. We're gonna snug that up and hope for the best. There we go. I always brag about these wrenches, but just having these angles makes stuff happen. Usually get that lucky that thing's just loose. I actually even ordered the O-rings from John Deere and have them with me here because I was really expecting to have to get into that. But if just tightening it solved the leak, I'll take it. I probably got, I don't know, 3/16 of a turn on it, which is, I guess, enough. Spanky's getting the West Virginia hoopty all detailed. Gonna ride the buggy on Monday. That's a separate video. Now back to my favorite ever. The Dozer needs a couple things as well. Just here 5 days ago, and this thing's all schmoozed up again. Don't worry, we brought a pressure washer. We're gonna make this Dozer look great again. She has really been aging quickly, sitting out here in the rain. So we gotta loosen up this right side track a little bit. Last episode, you guys saw I had this, I don't know if that's the one I wanna loosen. This thing's got a different tensioner on both sides, and I don't remember which one has the nice bleed hole. I have a feeling this is a plug that's going to fly all the way out. Let's try it at the base first. Kind of doing some troubleshooting here. See how much play that has. That inner shim could probably be thicker to take a little bit of that up and down and twist out of it, but I don't know how much you want to go. You don't want anything to bind up. You know, that gap isn't crazy. That fitting come out too. That might be it right there. That might be why. Now I'm starting to remember that this entire fitting comes out and has the check ball behind it. That's what we're missing here, boys. I'm getting rusty on dozers. I gotta get I need to work on more dozers. Oh yeah. Yep, see that? Grease is already squirting. Let's just leave that squirt for a second. Get these tracks just a little sagging. I want them tighter than they were when they came off, but I do not need them as tight as they were after I got it out of that hole. Alright, thinking this is just the right tension for side sloping on a worn out undercarriage. So just enough that you can move it, you see it deflect, but it's not like super guitar string. The way I brought it up here, you could stand on it, it wouldn't even deflect. This is about as tight as you want to go, I think, but what do I know? See, on the left side here, which has luckily been pretty drama-free, it's just a Zerk and a plug. And I would assume you pull that plug to drop tension. I've pulled the Zerk in the past because I had to replace it, but totally different design here. Next maintenance item on this is a ghetto restorative service on the left side brake band. For the straight models and the B models with the dry clutches, they're supposed to be dry. Well, what I found is this didn't rear its head at home because we're driving on flat land. The thing runs great. When you get into the mountains and you start side sloping to the left, that transmission fluid now covers the pinion shaft that goes into the left side steering clutch. And I have a feeling those seals are compromised because after about a full day of side slope dozing, the left brake band starts to lose its grab. And right now it's very marginal. It'll just about turn on flat land, won't turn at all downhill, and then obviously it turns fine uphill. So what I do with that is I pump the housing full of E85, run the dozer back and forth a bunch of times, actuate the brake, use that to degrease all the components in there, drain it out, and then repeat until it's perfect. Because this has happened before, I actually have a valve plumbed into the bottom of the steering clutch housing, and I'll just put a pump hose right on it, Milwaukee pump, a bucket of E85, and fill the thing up. I leave the lid under the seat loose, so it's just sitting on there, but it's not airtight. And the reason for that is I want to create an incredibly rich environment that is deficient in oxygen, because I want that E85 to actually turn into vapor in there and displace the oxygen. So we're not going to have an explosion under the seat. When you're filling a clutch housing with literally flammable material, if anything shoots a spark, the throwout bearing, a clutch finger, a disc, pad, the brake shoe, whatever, you could have a bad time on your hands. You'd need enough to submerge the bottom of the brake band so it flings it around everywhere. Yeah, that's leaking pretty quick. I don't love that. This doesn't fit that good. Doesn't feel like the threads are that good. Like, what the heck is going on here? Well, I pumped it full. We're just gonna have to deal with that drip and just act quickly. Steering's coming back. Let's drain it out and see what we got. Just using it as a solvent to run that oil out of the brake band. Plus it gives your dozer a nice corn smell. Quite a bit in there. I think that was enough to touch the brake band because it did start working again, even in reverse. See, it's got a little bit of hydraulic fluid color to it. And out here in the back is very clean. So that's what's dripping straight off the clutch down into here. This is just literally dumping the housing. Just like that, our steering is back nice and even left to right. Works for this machine, so I'll keep doing it until we have a reason to get in there and fix it right. But as you know, that is a large labor job to do, and Maybe if we do an undercarriage on this, I'll already have everything off, and maybe that'll be the time. But for now, gonna keep the E85 rolling. The E85 costs like $2.60 a gallon. You need 2 gallons to do 1 clutch housing. So you're like, all right, $5. Even if you had to do it a few times a year, might get you by. Now the one thing that I do worry about is that it will take the grease out of the throwout bearing, and that'll start squealing and chattering on at some point. There is obviously a risk to it. It's not a real fix. One last thought on this procedure. I have tested it on riveted brake bands with sintered metal steering clutches. I have not tested it on the factory paper mesh type clutches or bonded brake bands. I think the ethanol may have an effect on the glue they use for those brake bands, so it's worth taking a peek down in your steering clutch housing and at least seeing if you have riveted bands or not. I probably wouldn't do this on bonded brake bands, but for the riveted bands and the sintered clutches, seems good to go. Anyway, just took a shower, changed, and now we are heading out to the West Virginia State Fair. Apparently it's pretty cool, never been there before. Damn, look at the camber on this thing. This thing is slammed. What's the National Guard trying to do? Attract takeover kids with this thing? Damn! Fair was sweet, but we stopped by Lowe's on the way. They got a deal on mini fridges. Time to get rid of this little boy here. Doesn't fit enough beers for us. Holds 16 in the door, plus room for butter, bacon, a couple eggs, and all that. And a freezer. Man, we can make this work. Last maintenance item before we get to work is the condition of this coolant. Scared the crap out of me. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's straight mud. That is not cool. Got a little green tinge to it. Alright, let me get a bucket under this thing. I had the motor out of this Dozer a little over a year ago before I brought it here, and I washed the rad out, the engine out, everything, put brand new coolant in it. Never had water in it, just proper coolant. And I was running in the woods, I thought it was getting a little warm, so I checked the coolant and it was at a good level, but it was just straight rust, just straight mud water. I'm pretty surprised to see that because, you know, this was pretty fresh. I don't know where that's coming from. I have 3 gallons of coolant with me, so I guess I'm just going to drain and refill. We're probably going to need to do a flush on this thing this winter. That is crazy. Same thing here, just mud. What the heck is up with that? Could be oil in it? Doesn't feel like oil. Man, that's a shame. Time to get rid of this pile of stumps. We're going on a road trip.
Alright, so the goal
deliver our old mini fridge to one of our neighbors, and we're bringing them some fresh cherries. So we got a slight interruption in the dozer work, but we will be right back. Alright, it's several hours later. We're heading back to the dozer to pick up where we left off. It was very dry, and then we got, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches of rain in like a half hour. And I burned a lot of time at my neighbor's house, and I have to come to peace with that, because we come here and we're here for a very limited time. We have a lot of work to do. But we are the only 3 people that live on this mountain. And the neighbor system is extremely important, and they have helped us so much, and we have helped them a lot too, and I have a lot more I plan to do for them. And when they call and they need something, you just gotta stop what you're doing and go and take care of it. And because I want to be selfish, like, yo, you guys live here, I'm only here a couple days a month, let me get some work done. But also, they are the people keeping the eyes on the property, they are the people keeping the meth heads out, they are the people doing everything. So you just got to prioritize your neighbors. But anyway, you have a new trail blown down this way. That's what we worked on right before we left. And the clay is very sticky right now because it just rained. But basically what I'm trying to achieve here is 2 things. I need to build a road to access this portion of the property, which we've never been out to with a vehicle. We've only hiked this area, and there is a lot of brush. It's just crap everywhere, very dense over here. This pile of whatever, broken trees and whatever. So my plan is I want to head down this way and just doze a path to a very steep portion of the mountain. That's where all our stumps will go, and then this will get fixed for trail riding. And if you guys look, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty level all the way out to there. This is a ridge on the mountain, and we own about 500 feet more of that. This might be a future location for a shop someday. This will be the new Spank Ranch stump dump. This is very steep here. I'll never build anything here. Not even interested in building trails here. So pretty much we need to get stumps up here, push them down this hill, and see you later. They can rot down there. worked fine just pushing into this bank and then flipping her up. That's a good sized unit right there. Won't be missing seeing this in the yard. Just a few more to go after that. Alright, first one going to the stump dump. We'll see how it goes.
Oh boy. Better get my butt moving. Mr. Spanky likes to take in a little crap. I don't know, it just rained. The mud is very slick right now, but Mr. Spanky wants to get these stumps down. So we'll see how that goes. Everyone send your prayers. Oh man, I don't know, this is a good idea. Cement or like the tiniest bit of rain, it turns so slick. It's wild. I guess his plan is to drop them all here and then we're gonna doze them down is the safe option because the backhoe is majorly tippy. It's crazy. From the other side because this side's like pointed, so it's not gonna like fully fit in there. The other side's like flat.
So yeah, spin it, get the weight in the bucket is what I gotta do. Down here without sliding. Oh. Here the stumps may rest. Right down the side of this hill. So we'll leave this trail open in case more stumps appear in the future, which I'm sure they will, but this land over here is so steep, I'll never build anything here, so I think this is a good place for them to rest. If I do build something here, it might be 50 years from now, these will be gone. Back this thing out one more time. Boy, do I feel bad for this reverser working on this hill. Get some space out here. Now it might look like I'm decimating everything, but I am not. I am picking and choosing what we're keeping. Like this locust here does not look healthy, but it's also not in my way, so we're not going to touch it. But these little things, we got thousands of trees on the property. A couple more of these knocking down ain't gonna hurt my feelings too much. But now you can see, like, we're there, baby. That's level ground in West Virginia. Very hard to get to, very hard to find. Oh, mine's a little warm. Yep, so now we sit at the top of the mountain on the hammock. Wait for the sun to go down, start dinner. Tomorrow's a new day. Just cooking some burgers out here. A guy came by last night and dropped off a little bit of ground beef, and he is a cattle farmer out on the front side of our mountain. He has a couple 100 acres out there. Very, very nice piece of land. But anyway, we got to talking. He heard that I had a John Deere 450, and I've worked on it through one of my other neighbors. He has a 450D that has a problem with it won't back up a hill. Next time I come down, I'll bring my gauges and some tools, and we'll get into that, kind of see what's going on and see what he needs to get that fixed. I'm happy to network, and it's surprisingly not hard to network in a very small town. It's only 60 something people that live here. So probably most people have heard about us already, whether they've heard good or bad. You don't know. The people I've met seem to have heard good things, but you never know what people think of you. When you're out of state and you buy a property somewhere, you're coming into a community where people have lived here for 8 generations. I mean, these people go all the way back to the 1800s. Nobody new moves here, I'll say. West Virginia is a state where people are unfortunately leaving, or they're coming here to retire. It's not common for younger folks to buy land here and build a house and like start a life here. So that's a fairly new concept to people, and they're skeptical of it.
Good morning.
I want to power wash this thing while I have the pressure washer down here. This dozer used to be beautiful, and now it looks like an abandoned war machine. Hopefully that'll clean up. She still cleans up and looks good. Almost as good as the day I brought her down here. Paint cleaned up great. Decals stayed on through the pressure washing. I'm pretty happy with that. Blew out the whole undercarriage. There was some serious crap packed in there. You can tell this undercarriage is really getting worn because like the flat spots on the pins here, it's actually the lip of the roller hitting it each time it goes around. Makes for a rough ride, that's for sure. Floor pan cleaned up pretty good. Gave the pre-cleaner a quick rinse. She looks good. Now this girl's always been the ugly duckling, so we're not going to get too serious about this. But what is exciting is the front axle is still dry. So we did get lucky on that tightening that fitting. I'll take the wins when I can get them. Blew all the mud out of the interior. She's looking spotless, baby. Whatever. And we're gonna go ahead, wrap this weekend episode up here. I guess key takeaways here are keep up on your maintenance. When things start to leak or aren't working right, try to fix them as quick as you can. If you let it snowball, you turn into having machines that are in bad condition and they're not ready to work when you need them. And eventually it just gets so overwhelming that you don't want to deal with it. You end up selling it to someone like me who buys machines with extreme amounts of problems and neglect. So don't be that guy. Keep up on your machines. See a leak starting, take care of it. You know, just keep things rolling. I feel good about this weekend because we're leaving both machines in better condition than they were when we got here, and we got a bunch of work done with moving all those stumps, building the stump dump, and getting some trails made for the buggy. Also, guys, somehow this channel just hit 25,000 subscribers on my birthday of all days. I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't know why a lot of people watch this stuff. It is just me filming crap, doing crap, but I do appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate every comment. Let's keep it rolling. Let's see where this goes. There's always more work to do next time. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching Spank Ranch Garage. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. I'll see you next time.